Hi, my goal is to help you improve your underwater photography. By sharing some of the mistakes I have made, hopefully you can shorten your learning curve and avoid some of my mishaps. It is really fun to capture an image of the underwater world. It is especially fun if you can capture a diver, particularly if that diver is your friend or family member, to show them in the context of the underwater world. First of all, when shooting divers, it's relatively straightforward. You can use a compact camera like this, hopefully with a wide-angle attachment, okay? Or you can use a big SLR camera like this with a fisheye lens or a wide-angle lens with or without strobes, okay? Generally, if the object, the diver, is at least 4 to 5 feet away, we don't have to worry too much about having the focus in the foreground and background balance. Wide-angle lenses have a relatively good depth of field, so unless something is very close, most is going to be in focus. Also, the lighting is not too much of a problem. Often I will use 1 or 2 strobes to bring a little bit of lighting, color, and contrast to the foreground. Okay, let's jump right in and talk first about some rules of composition, and we're going to see some examples of divers underwater here. Okay, let's talk about composition. This is an image of a diver with an angelfish. The diver is looking at the angelfish, but the background is kind of cluttered. And as you recall from part 6 of my 10 steps tutorial, the background is so important. It's nice to get down and shoot up so you have the blue water or non-distracting background, as in this image here. If you do have a conflicting background, you can make it interesting. Here's a picture of my wife. We were ascending from the Spiegel Grove on a day of unusually good visibility. I was at about 30 feet. She was about 5 feet beneath me. The wreck was at about 100 feet, and you can see her against the background of the wreck with divers down on the wreck. You can also apply the rule of thirds. As you recall from the part 6 of the top 10 steps, this diver is oriented in the rule of thirds orientation. This diver in the Plumos anemone in Seattle. Similarly here we have a diver on a wreck in Grand Cayman, and he's positioned according to the rule of thirds. We can use a diagonal to add tension and energy to the image, as this split level picture of my daughter snorkeling in the Caymans. We can add color, texture, or emphasize that as well to bring interest. Most color was lost at 90 feet depth on this Thunderbolt wreck with my dive buddy. By using a strobe, I was able to bring vibrant color to the orange reef adjacent to the diver on the wreck. We can also emphasize lines, leading lines here, the ascent rope leading down to my dive buddy on the wreck. We can also frame the subject as you see here or here to make an interesting composition. Now, there's some additional tips, however, with composition when shooting divers. One thing we look at is the diver profile. Are they a good horizontal orientation? Are they compact or open? Do they have dangling equipment? We look at irritating aspects like amputations of part of the diver. Here's an image with the diver in a vertical orientation, kind of spread out, not a very good diver profile. This is an image with a better diver profile, but here he's blowing distracting bubbles and I've amputated part of his feet. This is a nice example of good diver orientation. He's well positioned, he's balanced, looking at the camera. He doesn't have dangling equipment. He's actually looking at the fish, not at the camera. He's not blowing bubbles. There are no distracting mergers or amputations. You can see a little bit of the undercurrent. I was excited to get this nice, beautiful grouper with my 2 dive buddies. Here's an example of almost everything that can go wrong. Although I have the grouper in focus and the lighting is adequate, I have one diver facing the wrong direction, another diver with a vertical profile, blowing bubbles and not looking at the fish. On top of that, both of the divers are merged with the subject. Very disappointing. This diver is looking toward the fish, but if you can see his eyeballs, he's gazing away from the fish. In addition, the diver is merged with the fish. This is slightly better in that I have separation of the diver and the turtle. The diver, however, has an open profile, not too good, with dangling equipment, and unfortunately I depressed the shutter when he was exhaling bubbles. I do have a nice background, but unfortunately the sun was in the background. It would have been better if the sun was at my back, and I might have gotten a little better color to the turtle shell in the foreground. This is a nice picture of my daughter snorkeling toward a turtle. We have separation between the turtle and the diver. We have a few bubbles from the kicking from the swimming, which conveys motion, and both subjects are facing the camera, and the daughter is facing the turtle. This is a very nice picture of Angelfish and my dive buddy, slightly behind it. Dive buddy demonstrates a very good profile, no bubbles, compact, no dangling equipment, and he's looking at the subject with a nice blue background. Okay, I just showed some of the examples of mishaps and obstacles that one can encounter when trying to shoot a diver in the reef. This outline is available at my website for free at www.theaquaticeye.com. Please check out other videos, including the 10 steps to better underwater photography. My next talk, part 2, is going to be a little bit more technical. It's concentrating on close focus, wide angle of a diver. Thank you.